Woo! Man, what a great evening here. January 10th, as promised, 7 p.m. Eastern. And want to say thank you to everyone that's joining here for this live stream of a product release. As you know, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Last time was with the NIS, and we like to keep things interesting. We like to keep all of you guys engaged. And we're giving away a brand new Rival A5 every 10 minutes. And you have to share it. Use the hashtag RivalA5, and our team here at X is going to keep and monitor that. And we're going to be announcing those winners live in this live stream. And man, are you excited?
Dude, I am excited. I'm excited, a little anxious. I'm not gonna lie, like we've done a bunch of these live feeds, these live product releases, and like the nerves never seem to go away. So I think it's just anticipation, right?
Yeah, this is a very exciting day. And I guess we'll get into introductions here real quick. My name is Jake Hofer, co-owner and marketing director here at Exodus, host of the Exodus podcast. And so happy to have all of you guys here and really appreciate everyone tuning in. Chad, why don't you introduce yourself in case people haven't caught who you are?
Yeah, Chad Sylvester here, co-founder, co-owner, actually the last remaining founding father of Exodus. Co-owner, kind of handle operations. You see my face here and there, hear my voice here and there in a podcast, but excited to be with everyone tonight and, share the information about the new Rival A5.
Yeah, so let's just kick this off right now. We're going to announce our first winner, and it is Nolan Quast on YouTube. Email us at info@exodusoutdoorgear.com, and we're going to get you that camera. So for people who haven't tuned in to some of our stuff or haven't bought any of our products or aren't familiar with who we are, tell us a little bit about Exodus.
Yeah, and I would urge anyone, like after this live broadcast, if you have 20 minutes, before bed, after you've placed your order for a new Rival A5, man, we really have a couple kind of marquee pieces of content on our YouTube channel that dive into the depths of how Exodus was started, the struggles, the stories about bootstrapping this thing and getting it up and running to what it is today. But for those folks who are joining with us tonight, Exodus was launched back in 2015 with really a primary focus around solving the reliability and longevity issues with trail cameras. But we wanted to do that with a focus around going to work for the end user, for our customers. And what I mean by that is we wanted to build a company that provided the most value to our customers through all verticals. So that's product value, that's product education, and product support. And as we build out the company culture here at Exodus, it starts with that mission statement. The mission statement is reflective of what I just said. It's being a consumer direct outdoor and hunting industry company, having a core mission to offer quality products and content with consumer direct savings to not only help people become better hunters, but also make their hunting experiences more enjoyable. And personally, I could say after 9 years, we've held true to that, man. I think we've done an outstanding job taking that statement and living it every single day. And I think it's also backed up by the company growth that we've experienced both on the product side and on the content side.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I mean, we've evolved and continued to improve ourselves, whether it's on the product side, the content side, and we've continued to evolve based on what our consumers want, based off of what the people that consume our content are desiring. And so we really preach that both our ears are open and only one mouth is open. So we appreciate all the feedback and appreciate everyone joining in and sharing some of their questions here in the live stream. We're going to announce as many as we can here later throughout this live stream. But to get into a little bit more about the history, how many cameras have we brought to market over the years? And obviously 2024 is slated to be our most exciting and biggest year yet. And we're obviously kicking that off with the Rival A5, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, man. So a little foreshadowing here. We've developed 8 cameras, but the Rival A5 is going to be the 6th camera being released into the marketplace. So it's our third cellular offering over the last 5 or 6 years. Back in 2015, we launched with the Lift 1. We made some improvements to that model and morphed that into the Lift 2. In 2018, we launched just a workhorse of a camera that previous customers know as the Trek. And then in 2019, we jumped into the cellular game with the Exodus Render. Man, it's hard to believe that camera, was started way back in 2019, 4 or 5 years ago. But then in 2023, we extended our cellular offerings with the original Rival A. And now in 24, we're set to release the, Rival A5 with 2 additional camera offerings coming, including that long-awaited new standard SD card camera coming just in a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Super exciting. And I think there's going to be a lot of foreshadowing here throughout this evening. So, anyone that tuned in, you guys are getting a lot of the first information that we are releasing about a lot of these exciting products. So, that's what you get when you join these live streams. You kind of get the full scoop, or at least a partial scoop, to get your gears turning.
Yeah, but before we go down any further in talking about the Rival A5, let's back up a little bit and just mention a couple things about how we operate here, right? So, what are some of the benefits around the direct consumer business model? I've said that word or said that phrase a couple of times, and oftentimes people think of that as a buzzword to create hype. But why should our customers care about that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And that's how our whole business is modeled. And that's part of the reason we can do this here tonight. How many other manufacturers are doing a live stream in order to release this information and share it as if we're just talking in the same room? So, likely some of your favorite brands like Kuiu, Maven Optics utilize the consumer direct business model, and it's for good reason. The D2C business model allows us to build high quality gear at an affordable price. We're able to use high quality components and manufacture the best possible camera for the money, ship it directly to you. We're not trying to hit a price point. We're simply trying to build quality products and back them up like no one else. And we can do that because of the consumer direct model and cutting out the middleman. So it's something that has caught a lot more attention. We're the first consumer direct trail camera ever. And I would still say to this day, we are the only true D2C model when it comes to trail cameras. So that's something that we hang our hat on. And it's not because we think it's the most profitable or it's the best way, because arguably you could scale this in different fashions. This is the best way we can control our customer base, own our relationship with our customers. And that's why we've done it. And that's why we continue to do it.
Yeah, to add to that, the business model has really been was and still is to this day instrumental in staying true to that mission statement and and having a baseline of products revolving around that longevity and reliability issue that we tried to tackle and tackled back in 2015. But
Yeah.
with that mission statement, it also revolves around content. So why do we take so much pride in our content and education, and why do we take it so seriously?
Yeah, I mean, this has evolved so much over the years. I can think of if we went back and watched the first Exodus podcast and to where we're at today, we have a full team. And I don't encourage anyone to go do that either. So pick up where we're here today and don't go back. But, ultimately, consumers have always been subject to a lot of smoke and mirrors, buzzwords, trying to dress up a product that really it comes down to sales tactics. And we wanted to educate. We wanted to bridge that gap, the information of what people should consider when they go to buy a trail camera. And that's evolved over the years. And we've continued to have great interviews with, I think, some of the best deer hunters on the face of the earth and share how they use cameras, uh, how they hunt throughout the entire season, and just share that value where people can get the best experience possible, whether it's trail cameras or whether it's deer hunting. And ultimately, as we've kind of alluded here, it's evolved. So if you're on this YouTube channel, there's a good chance you've checked out some of our whitetail cribs videos. And I would say if you had to dream up your Mount Rushmore of deer hunters across the country, there's a good chance we've had at least of one of your four, or maybe all four on the whitetail cribs series, just telling stories. So, I mean, we're a trail camera company, an arrow company first, but we're educators in order to have folks make the best possible decision. And I think as you guys get educated, we hope that you end up buying our products, but we're going to keep doing it regardless. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think it's time for another winner here. And I swear these guys are picking the hardest last names to pick. So we have Brett Swarut of Facebook. I'm sorry, Brett, if I butchered that. I really am. But email us at info@exodusoutdoorgear.com and we'll get you that Rival 85 ASAP. So a lot of people are probably wondering, when we come out with a product, it's usually to solve an issue. It's order to make a better experience for our consumers. As we alluded, the Trek was a home run. The Rival was very reminiscent of the Trek, and now we're coming out with the Rival A5. What birthed this product?
Well, like most products, it's really born through meeting customer demands and customer feedback. And I think paying attention to what was happening in 2020, tail end of 2022, throughout 2023, and looking at customer feedback, social trends in the industry, we've boiled down some of the biggest pain points that we've seen coming from cellular trail cameras, and that's image quality being uploaded by cellular trail cameras, battery life of products, slightly tied to the what I call like the lithium crisis. The price of lithium AA power sources have just gone completely through the roof if you can get your hands on them at all. And then the data costs tied to running cellular cameras. And with the 5 new product releases we have coming in 2024, you'll see a theme where each one of those pain points is being addressed with those new offerings. So when we talk about the rival lineup, you know, you mentioned it's been our best selling, most reliable cell camera to date. So looking on how to improve what has already been successful and proven to our customers. It's not about reinventing the wheel. We're starting completely from scratch with a new camera. We've already established that framework and that baseline in 2022 and 2023. It's about addressing those previously stated pain points from our customers. And the Rival A5 picks up right where the original Rival A left off. All the things that you love about the original Rival, the fact that it's reliable, that it's easy to use, and now the A5 is just simply a cut above the original Rival A camera. So, going through a development process, the first handful of years here at Exodus, the Lift 1, the Lift 2, the Trek, the process has always revolved around the reliability and longevity issues. And after 9 years of business, that's created, it's created a baseline and an expectation of products that our customers now depend on. And some of it is what we're known for, right? It's the gold standard. It's our gold standard. It's built into our mission. And I bring that up because it's not something we not only hang our hat on at the end of each day, but it's also something that has changed and affected the marketplace for all consumers, regardless of what trail camera brand that they're consuming. The fact is, where competition takes place, it breeds innovation, and it's a win-win for all customers. So when we look at that statement and tie that into trail cameras, cellular trail cameras specifically, the IoT space, man, it's crazy, right? I mean, it's evolving with new solutions, new products, but on the physical hardware side, there's only really so much you could do with trail cameras. The trigger speeds are only going to get so fast. The flash ranges are only going to get so far. So as they continue to evolve physical products, once that baseline has been established, it's about optimizing those products, about meeting the needs and feedback of our customers. And again, just going back and addressing those pain points that I previously mentioned.
Yeah. And so, with all that being said, what are some of the key updates and improvements people can expect from the Rival A5? Maybe some folks already had the Rival, or maybe they had the render, and maybe they're looking at getting a Rival A5. So, what are some of the updates that we can expect?
So I think one of the biggest things is tied to improved image quality through a new updated 5 megapixel native sized image sensor. And when you talk about improving image quality output of a camera, it really just relates to a few pieces of hardware, right? And arguably the most important is the image sensor. And we'll bypass the engineering or nerd talk about micron pixel sizes and light gathering capabilities. But the important thing is just note that all the way around in every lighting condition possible, the Rival A5 is class leading in clarity and dynamic color range. They stack up against any image coming from any device in the marketplace. So you can expect industry leading. Oh, there we go. We got some comparison photos up on the
Yeah.
screen now. But you're going to expect industry leading image clarity, a higher native resolution on those images, which means lower interpolation rates. And again, shying away from the technical talk a little bit here, but when you zoom in to some of these photos, whether you're on your phone or your computer, when you look at those hard lines between objects in frame, there's going to be less fuzz. Those hard lines are going to be just more sharp. I guess that's the easiest way to put it, so folks can understand it. Those images are going to be sharper with everything in frame, with a deeper color contrast.
hmm Yeah, I think those pictures really illustrate the update. And Man, if you look at so on the website, you can go and look at those on your own time and really break them down, but it is a very noticeable difference. And one other thing, talking about the pain points that a lot of people experience, the Rival A5 is going to have an improved battery life as well. So we've been testing this camera here since late summer, and I know there's so many variables that go into this, but I can tell you that there was multiple sets I put up in August with a set of lithium batteries, and they're still taking pictures right here today. Actually got a picture of some deer this evening on the same set of batteries. So those are more in hardwood settings, but ultimately you can expect to stretch your dollar with the batteries and have hassle-free use, because I set those cameras up in August and I haven't been back since. So that's kind of the key of using cell cameras. That's what we're all aiming for. So something that we've been getting a lot of questions about, a lot here on the live stream, and since we've teased this video, is the Exodus app. I know we're still a little early, but what can we share about it?
Yeah, we are a little early, but we'll start to release more specific information around this project later this spring, just a handful of months with an MVP launch coming in early summer. But without a doubt, the app portion of our product releases, the app portion of this project is the most exciting, but it's also the heaviest lift for us. I mean, it's the biggest project we've ever tackled internally here at Exodus, both through manpower and financially. But folks can expect direct integration with every existing cell camera we've ever sold. So if you have a render that's 5-6 years old right now, it's still transmitting photos, not skipping a beat, we have a migration process set up for you. And obviously, it's going to be compatible with the A5 and any future cell cameras that we release in 2024 and beyond. But people can expect lower data plan costs. They can expect easy and intuitive navigation. They can expect seamless functionality and features, improved dependability, long-term storage solutions, and some analytical information. So there's a lot on that bubble. This is the most exciting thing that we've probably ever done here internally at Exodus. And I just can't wait to share that project with the world here in just a few months.
Yeah, extremely exciting and something we've been working on here for a while. And I think once again, it keys in on all the feedback we've been receiving over the last few years. And this is your answer. We've been listening and we've been working very hard behind the scenes and talking about some of the analytics and integrations. Right now, if you're an OnX Elite member, you can use that feature on the Render Rival or Rival A5 and set a pin and actually check your cameras directly from OnX and check out your photo feed. That's something that's very exciting. And I'm sure if I had a bet on a company building out a full data set and information you can get from your cameras, obviously we're betting on OnX, and they are just in the very beginning of those projects. So with all that being said, we have another Rival A5 winner. So appreciate everyone being very active here in the chat, and I appreciate everyone putting their questions in there. Ryan McNicholas of YouTube, you just won a Rival A5. Congratulations. Send us an email at info@exodusoutdoorgear.com, and we're going to get that out the door to you.
That one was a little easier for you.
I can handle that one.
I'm just gonna say the world is lucky that I don't have that responsibility. My pronunciation on some of these names, dude, you think you're butchering them? It would be a catastrophe if I tried to tackle this.
Well, I
But it
appreciate
would
you
be
letting me
funny.
do
It would be
that.
funny. Oh, no problem, man. No sweat off my back. But back to the Rival. Jake, what are we doing about the price point on this camera? We got some updates, we got some features and different things, happening. What's this camera coming in at?
Man, in a world where there's an excuse to raise the price for everything, we are remaining at the 179 price point. So it's live on the website right now. You can get a Rival A5 for 179. But for all of you guys that have tuned in, as promised, we have special savings. All you have to do is use the code A5. You're going to save 15% off the product. So if you bought 5 cameras, you're going to get 15% off per camera, which comes out to about $27 per camera. And so that code is going to be live for the first 300 cameras. It's been live, and I think it's probably going to get claimed pretty fast. So if you're on the fence, I would encourage you to get those and lock it in. And you can actually scan the screen and go straight to the website, or just head over to exodusoutdoorgear.com and use the code A5. So talking about photo mode, what can people expect? I think that's the key feature here. That's one of the most noticeable upgrades for the end consumer. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about the improved image quality on the transmission side and the HD side, I guess, but they can expect better color profiles and contrast in daytime images, even when the light settings aren't ideal. And I think that's really where it matters most, because you have guys that understand photography, and you have guys that, like us in the office, and a handful of consumers and trail camera vets that really understand light metering systems with trail cameras. And the people in that bucket can get pretty decent photos out of a variety of cameras. But the caveat is, whitetail fanatics, they're not in that category, right? They just want to set their camera, they want to get those data points, and they want to have the best images possible. And I think that's really where the Rival A5 shines. The improved clarity of transition photos during those low, tough, low light scenarios, obviously those dawn and dusk type settings, big plus there. You're going to have enhanced clarity of those nighttime images, which again is all tied back to that image sensor having more or increased light gathering capabilities for those brighter, sharper night images. But on the setting side, as far as physical camera settings are concerned, those are relatively unaltered. You're still going to have a 1-to-9 shot burst. You're going to have a variety of HD image sizes up to 32 megapixels with those lower interpolation levels. You can upload those in a standard or enhanced feature. And you're still going to have the ability to dial in and adjust that flash range to really kind of finite or fine point those nighttime images based on how that camera is set up and where the camera is placed.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And once again, you can see those photo examples, super crispy cell cam pictures. See, we have to all remember we're putting a piece of technology on a tree and it's sending you crispy photos to your phone. That's insane. No matter where you're at, it's sending crispy photos to you. And it's you can go back and to see that evolution and how much better cell cameras have gotten in terms of image quality. And Rival A5 is a giant leap, in my opinion, in this space. So another topic that I think is getting more momentum is running video mode. So tell us a little bit more about the video mode with Rival A5.
Yeah, well, there's going to be less customization ability when it comes to video. The uploads are still going to be 640p resolution, but visually, when you see the video, you're going to notice those same differences in color contrast or the vibrance of those color profiles. You'll notice the clarity improvements, and you'll notice the improved illumination at night. And it's really not illumination coming necessarily from the flash unit of the camera, but again, it boils back to the light gathering capabilities and the micron pixel size of that image sensor. But as far as customizing settings are concerned, customers are still going to have the ability to adjust the duration of their videos from 5 to 90 seconds, which, a lot of people in our pipeline are so used to that, it's not a big deal. But when you think about all the other camera companies that shoebox you into a 5-second video or shoebox you into a 10-second video, we all know the underlying problem there, right? Like, you get those videos of a buck trailing a doe at 6 seconds in the video, and boom, video cuts out. Or a buck's coming in, working a scrape, and you get a 5-second clip of them. And then that camera goes into the recovery mode, and you have no idea how that deer left that scrape. So that's a non-factor here. It's a non-factor for the Rival A5. So that's something that we have to mention that I think a lot of people don't give enough credit to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think obviously a big fan of video mode and started running a little bit more cell cameras in video mode with the Rival A5. And it's awesome. That was the one thing I missed with running a lot of cell cameras was the videos. And so while we're talking about some of the specs here on the A5, let's run through some of the specs here. Obviously, all this information is on the website, but you can expect a 0.3 second triggered speed, 70-foot adjustable detection range, and something that's really important is you can turn off the PIR sensor remotely from the app. And what is the use case? That is when you have your camera out on a windy day and you thought you trimmed everything up perfectly, but there's still that pesky branch flapping in front of your camera all day. And instead of wasting data and wasting battery life, you can actually turn off the PIR sensor and then turn it back on remotely and not waste data and battery life. There's an 850 nanometer flash unit in this camera. So it's a low glow camera, and that will reach out to 90 feet. And obviously, there's live on-demand features here from the app. So basically, anything you can do that you're used to doing physically at your camera, you can do it on the application, which is super nice. And the transmission speeds on this are very quick. So with a good signal, you can expect an 8-second transmission speed. And if you have a little less spotty or a little more spotty signal, you can expect 35-second transmission speeds. And then obviously with video If you have a 90-second video, it's going to be a large file. It's going to take some time, and that's to be expected. That's no different than sending a video to your friend. It just takes longer. So, all that information is on the website. And, the beautiful thing with the pictures, they're actually very high quality, but very small size. So a photo is going to be about 150 kilobytes. A daylight image is going to come into about that, and it'll be sent to you in 8 seconds. Another thing that a lot of people use is the customizable operating hours that is still available here on the A5. And then this is a 12-volt product, so it's going to take 8 AA lithium batteries. It's still compatible with the SP18 and also compatible with any future solar panel products that we may release in 2024. Another more foreshadowing for you. With that being said, and understanding how expensive lithium batteries have become, real quick, what is your take on external power sources? Do you think they're worth the money? Are they worth the investment?
1,000%. I mean, if you run an external power source, even after 1 year, you're going to be ahead of the game when it comes to dollar spent versus output and performance on your camera. So even with 20% battery life in the Rival A5, I still recommend powering that camera with some type of external power source. It's a cellular device. It's still power hungry compared to regular SD card cameras. And the important thing is, like, let's not forget about the intent of the product, right? Like, we want to put these things out on our properties or public ground, wherever, to reduce human pressure and
Absolutely.
allow those devices to go to work for us and collect those data points to stack the odds in our favor, right? And if you're out there changing batteries every couple months, you're taking away from the effectiveness of the product. So, Jake, like you mentioned, the A5 is still a 12-volt product. It's going to have an operating range of operating voltage range of 9 to 12 volts. So that's still compatible with any previous external power source like the SP18, and it's also going to be compatible with the new SP24 being released later this year. And I guess to add some clarity to that, this is something we get questions about a lot, even from existing customers that have been in the pipeline for a couple of years. Any of our external power source products, it is designated as a standalone power source. So that solar panel, people think it's just a solar panel, but that solar panel has built-in batteries on the inside of that product that has its own internal capacity to power the device. It's not charging any internal AA's that you're putting in that camera. The internal AA's are really just like a safety net or insurance policy. So if that external power source ever dies for some reason or it becomes unplugged, then the camera knows it needs to switch. There's no power there. It needs to switch to internal batteries. So you're never, if you use that insurance, look at it as an insurance policy, you're never going to have that camera out in the field not working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know there's a lot more people too that are just running a external power source instead of buying lithium batteries too. The one thing you want to be careful with there is if it comes unplugged, you're out of luck. So obviously, if you do that, make sure you secure that cord very well. And super excited for the new product offering coming later this year for solar panels. I think it's a huge advancement from the SP18. And it's time for another winner, Ben Sherritt. Congratulations. From YouTube, email us at info@exodusoutdoorgear.com. Appreciate everyone putting questions in here, sharing it. We greatly appreciate it. And let's keep on rocking here.
So what about the back end, Jake? Like, what can customers expect on the warranty side?
Yeah, so I see a lot of here in the chat. I see a lot of previous customers, and for someone that has not bought a product, as always, what you've come to expected, the industry best. We are going to have the same warranty you all have become to trust and rely on. The 5-year no BS warranty for literally half a decade. Half a decade, you will be covered from any manufacturing issues. If for some reason the camera was damaged by a flood, a bear ate it, lightning, it was stolen, you can replace that camera 50% off one time. And still to this day, no other company offers anything close to this warranty. There's been some people that have upped their game in the warranty category, but we are still by far the best, and we back it up. And we're able to do that with the consumer direct business model. So you can expect the 5-year warranty. You're going to buy a cell camera for today. You could buy one for almost $150, and it's going to be guaranteed for 5 years. 5 years. To me, it's a no-brainer.
All the haters and naysayers back in 2014, 2015, they all said, you're not going to be around in 5 years. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Here we are, 10 years later. What, 9 years later, still chugging along, baby.
Yeah, I remember when I did the initial interview with you way back when I was still in college. That was one of the questions I asked. What do you say to the guy that you guys are going to be around in 5 years? And I remember going to trade shows. Wow, who cares if there's a 5 year warranty? You guys won't be around. Here we are, and we're continuing to provide what we have always promised. So. For people who haven't bought a camera from Exodus, tell us a little bit about the Exodus experience. It's something that we kind of coined, and for people who have bought our products, they know what this means.
Yeah, I think the customers have been in our pipeline know, and they can speak to this, but folks who have yet to buy an Exodus product, it's everything that we've touched on tonight, right? It's the warranty, it's buying an Exodus product and getting exactly what we talk about. It's the longevity, because there's so many companies out there that, they speak words or spew words and there's no action behind it. Like it lacks action. But when we talk about something, like, we live that every single day with action. So you can expect the reliability that we're talking about. You can expect the 5-year warranty with accidental damage and theft coverage. You can expect educational resources to help you get the most out of the product that you just purchased, which literally we have a resource around just about every question or topic you could possibly have with any camera. That's best practices on how to set a camera up, where to set a camera up, how to use power sources, best practices around SD cards. The bottom line is, on the resource side, if you are not getting the most out of every single camera you own, it probably boils down to the lack of due diligence on your behalf, and or not putting that to use in the field. But on top of that, when we talk about customer service and customer support, we have a fully trained up staff that is willing, able, and excited to pick up the phone and talk to you. There's no call center, there's no like AI robot on the other line. You get a real English speaking individual that probably lives right here in Ohio or Pennsylvania that wants to be able to put their personal touch with you one on one to serve your needs, solve a problem, or calm any concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. Super exciting. And one question I've seen here a lot in the chat, one thing that I think a lot of people are wondering, they're wondering about the data plans. So we're talking about more affordable data plans, and we always get in trouble for sharing too much too early. So keep that in mind. What could people kind of have what can we tell them?
Well, there's a lot of change coming on this front. Like you said, it's probably a touch early to share any of the specifics, but that's coming in the next couple months. So again, if you're not in the pipeline on the newsletter side, man, like right now, get over to the website and sign up for the newsletter, because we'll be releasing some of this information over the next couple months. What we can say is there's going to be significant savings on the data plan side. So, and there's a lot of people coming out, and we get this at trade shows. We get it on, on phone calls or email inquiries. Is there an unlimited option coming?
Mm,
Yes, the unlimited
mm,
option is coming. But don't fear, for all of those of you that like that freestyle plan, and or like that shared style type plan that they currently have, will have that option too. So wherever you want to be on the data plan side, whether it's a monthly plan, an annual plan to maybe lock in some additional savings, an unlimited plan, a freestyle plan, the bottom line is we're going to have an option for you.
yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of cost savings. I know there's a lot of people that run a lot of cameras. It's going to add up and it's going to keep more money in your pocket. And is this a pre-order? When can people expect this new A5?
Ooh, this isn't a pre-order, baby. We're shipping these things right now. And honestly, for some customers, they've actually already had them in their hands for a little bit. So, if you place an order tonight, tomorrow, order fulfillment times are typically within 48 hours, with the exclusion of the nominal, man, I like boogered that word up. See, it's a good thing I don't have to pronounce these names, but excluding anomalies of 3-day weekends with federal holidays and such, like, or high volume sales, we always ship within 48 hours, or do the best possible within 48 hours.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, as always, if you scoop one of these up, we would really appreciate it. If you did, you can use code A5 once again to save 15% off while supplies last. And as always, we have our YouTube channel with all of the onboarding information to get your camera up and rolling and put out to work. And so now I believe it's time for another Rival A5 winner, the Jacksons from YouTube. You can email us at info@exodusoutdoorgear.com. Once again, let's jump to Q&A. We've had a lot of questions roll in here, and let's see what we have here. One question is, will this be available for Verizon?
So stay tuned to the newsletter for that. Again, we have five products coming this year. So just coming soon with future more of these live product releases in 2024.
Okay, we'll buzz through these as fast as we can. Will this be available in Canada?
Yes, but that'll be addressed when we release the app. But with a new IoT connectivity solution, it really has no boundaries. So we can reprofile SIMs and do things remotely with network technology that basically has no boundaries. So
Mhm. Another question here. Will the Rival open with the solar panel plugged in? Yes, that is going to open up. Another question we've seen here a lot in live stream is, when will the non SD card camera, or when will the non cell camera come back in stock? Or when are we going to come out with a standard camera? I think is the question we've been getting asked.
So we're just a couple weeks away from that. Again, I'm going to revert back to the newsletter. We have a bunch of these live releases kind of slated out for the year, but we have another one scheduled towards the end of January. So if you are interested in that standard SD card camera, like, we'll be right back in this situation in about 2 weeks with a live product release. So just keep your ears and eyes open for that.
Another question we get pretty often: how does it do in low signal areas? There's a lot of variables of this, but what could you say about that?
Yeah, there are a lot of variables. They're cellular devices. They're gonna behave similar to your cell phone. The better signal strength that you have, the better and more reliable the device is gonna work. And that's tied to, it's tied to battery life, like you mentioned. It's tied to transmission speeds, like you mentioned, transmission reliability. All of that is a product of what type of signal the camera has in the environment where it's set up. But the bare minimum signal you need for really any communication is 2 bars. When you get below that, things start to get pretty spotty. But the good thing is, if you are in one of those obscure low signal areas, we do have directional booster antennas that typically provide an average increase of 2 bars of service. And, those can be found over on the website. And the cool thing is, if you do have an applicable use case, they actually pay for themselves over a year or two. If you get into that low signal area, sometimes the cameras are intermittent, transmitting, not transmitting. Sometimes you don't know if maybe you do have a camera problem, or maybe somebody stole the camera, or whatever the case is, and you have to drive an hour to go mess with it. Like, spending 60 or 70, $80 on those booster antennas, like, it solves that problem.
hmm Yeah, booster antenna is an incredible product to stretch the signal in those. This is the theme that we always hear. Well, where I hunt, there's not very good signal, and so that is a direct answer to that. So another question we had roll in is, does it have a GPS?
Not GPS in the form of what is top of mind for most folks, but like, those locating services are available in the event of stolen cameras. In fact, just a handful of weeks ago, maybe this past month, maybe just before Christmas, Justin was able to work with a customer where his camera was stolen and then remotely located and actually recovered with the help of law enforcement. So that doesn't happen very often. The whole stolen camera thing, from what we've seen over 9 years of being in the industry, happens less than what people think. But in the case something does happen, like, that option's there. And, again, through the Exodus experience, we go to work for people to help solve those types of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's something that people probably overestimate in general. But another question here: what is the new solar setup going to be like?
Um, so similar in profile to what folks are familiar with the SP18. Visually, it'll have a similar look to the Rival A5 with kind of that three-dimensional tooling. You can expect better solar charging efficiencies with different types of photocells, and you can also expect more capacity. So kind of an upgrade all the way through, visually, functionality, performance, capacity. It's a big upgrade over the SP18, which,
hmm
honestly, the SP18, it was 6 years old when we started selling that, and I think in 2018, thus the model name SP18.
hmm
But man, I still have those in the field, specifically one camera that I haven't touched in, it'll be, I think, 4.5 years this summer.
Yeah, it's
Hasn't
incredible.
died.
Yeah, yeah. External power sources definitely pay for themselves. Gas, time, all those different variables. So another question here that we've seen quite a few times is the render discontinued. I know we've announced this on the podcast and we've had it on the website, but has it been discontinued?
Yeah. Yeah. The render is discontinued. Again, some new cameras coming in 2024. So there is a Verizon variant type product that is coming. Yep. That will replace that. Kind of follow the same, it'll fall in the same product lineup as the A5.
Got it. Okay. Now I didn't pick these questions, but another one is Chad now Westy. We got to throw in a fun one.
You're damn right.
Where's it on a sleeve? Okay, so we answered. Will this be? Will there be a Verizon version of this? We answered that previously. Um, how do I know what provider has the best signal in my area? That's an excellent question.
Yeah. Very good question. So I would shy away from coverage maps. And the reason for that is honestly, they're so broad and not very detailed, or they don't have the ability to really pinpoint where exactly you're going to put that camera. But if you're on your property, man, you have a field test mode on your cellular device where you dial, I don't know, pound 301972 or whatever that number is. You could Google it and figure it out. But you have a field test mode on your phone that will tell you what kind of signal strength that you have and what carrier technology is available. And that is precise to the spot that you're standing. And that is by far the best way to figure out what signal and what coverage is available on your parcel.
Yeah, and we have a video about that as well. This specific question that you can just type in and watch that video.
And
Another
there's
question.
some apps. There's some apps like some free apps you can download on your phone too. Like Open Signal is one of them. Maybe like LTE Lite or something. But there's a couple apps that you can download free to your phone.
There's an app for that. I was late to the party. Any mention of cheaper data plans? Absolutely. We'll have more information about that here in the near future as well. And then, can the Rival be run? The Rival A5 can it be ran as a standard SD camera?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good question. I thought we would get that question more honestly when we went 2 years without having a standard SD card camera. But yeah, you can run the Rival A5 in offline or SD card mode. When you open that camera housing up, it's relatively simplistic with just an on-off switch and some LED indicators for battery life and signal strength and connectivity. But when you turn that camera to the SD mode or the offline mode, you have the capability of running it as a standard SD card camera without any data plan.
Mm-hmm. Another question here. One person asked about how'd you run a camera? How'd you run that camera 4.5 years? Doesn't the SD card get full? Well, you have remote access here with the app, so you can actually format that card. You can save HD images, and so you can clean up your card remotely as well. All right, this is a hard pitch here. This is elevator Shark Tank here. I have an Exodus. I never put it out because I found a camera that is dominating the industry. Why should I buy an A5?
Wait, say that one more time.
Yeah,
I
I'll,
have
I'll
an
read it.
Exodus camera, but I never put it out.
Yeah, so this gentleman said, I have an Exodus. I never put it out because I found a camera that is dominating the industry. Why should I buy an A5?
You should buy an A5 and put it side by side and like let's see a real comparison. Let's see what camera. I'm assuming I know what camera is dominating the industry. I think
We could all
there's
guess.
no secret. There's a million Tacticams out there, but I would feel very, very confident you could stick an Arrival A5 next to a Tacticam, and we're going to blow them away on all the things that we just mentioned.
Yeah, another thing too. I mean, warranty, customer service, all those intangibles that are not really intangible, but are very important post purchase to know that you're taken care of after you spend your hard earned money. Okay, are you going to do the trade-in program? We've actually seen that a handful of times in here. So if you have a render or if you have another product, are we going to do the trade-in program again this year?
I think you should tackle that, the marketing guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the most exciting campaigns we do. It's a great way for people to refresh their camera fleet, and we will be doing that again. As you know, subscribe to our email newsletter. We don't bombard you, and that's how you're going to get that information. And if you tune into the podcast, you're going to get a ID on that as well. So I think it's time to announce another winner, Kirk Heckert. Congratulations. You know the drill. Info@ExodusOutdoorGear.com. We will get that out the door as soon as possible. Um, will help me hunt as good as
Don't
Jake.
skip over that last question.
Well, help, it'll help you hunt better than me. So that's even so that's great. It's a pretty low threshold. So I will say this, that these products that we rely on, the season is so short, the window is so short, and you want to have gear you can rely on because the season is here and gone in the blink of an eye. Here in Illinois, our season closes Sunday, and a little bummed about it, to be completely honest, because it's going to be a long time before you're going to be in the tree stand with your bow in hand. And so having the quality gear that you need to make it happen and figure out what you can improve on, and you have some time to do that. Any other questions here? Let's see. A lot of past support here from previous customers. We really, really appreciate that. It means the world to us for those who have spent their hard-earned money to buy our products. What are you most excited about the A5? What makes you because you worked on this product, you handled the product development. What has you fired up most about this product?
Honestly, the image quality has me most fired up. And I've never been a guy that has really cared about like those glamour poster type trail camera pictures. I just have never been that guy, right? Like you would think from a trail camera perspective, or from a trail camera company perspective, like we would spend time going out and hanging cameras in like these picturesque spots and taking the time to have those poster type marketing material from cameras. And like, yes, we do that occasionally, but dude, when I'm putting cameras out myself, like they're for specific reasons, typically revolving around whitetails. Occasionally, we're out in some western state hanging some cameras for elk, which is super, super fun. But I think just knowing that how well the camera does in those tough lighting scenarios where you can get those glamour poster style shots without having to think about it, man. Like you just can set the camera up like you were going to set the camera up anyways. And like the photo quality is just absolutely phenomenal. So I think for me, that's outside of the app portion of what is coming.
Mm-hmm.
That is what gets me most excited about the physical product.
Yeah. The reliability of the A5 is extremely impressive. The photo quality is amazing. The battery life is great. I think it's truly a home run. Let's see. Any other questions here? We'll open it up here a little bit longer. Will the new app integrate with OnX? So OnX's integration is based off of the data from the camera, so nothing should change there. You will be able to continue to do that. Todd says he loves our products and mostly our customer service. So that's great to hear. What is the highest SD card? What's the biggest SD card that the Rival A5 can handle?
Off the top of my head, I believe it's a 64, but we generally tell people to run a 32 gig card because of the writing speed. So you want to stay under 100 megabytes per second. And all that, like if you scan, well, I don't know if that's the QR code on the screen right now, but when you get the product, there's a QR code for the manual inside the box. And when you scan that QR code, like everything you need to know specifically around the product is all laid out there. SD card requirements, battery requirements, the LED indicators, what all those signify and mean, all that stuff's laid out there. But generally speaking, a 30, with cell cameras, the SD, as long as you have remote access through the app to manage the back end of that, the capacity on the SD card really is not as important as what it is with standard SD card cameras, because you have the example I gave, a couple minutes ago about having a camera out in the field 3 or 4 years. Like I have the ability to delete photos, format the card. I can do all that stuff remotely. So the capacity thing is really not an issue, but the writing speed of the card is pretty important. So you want to stay under or no faster than 100 megabytes per second on the writing speed. That's the important thing.
Absolutely. Jim Montgomery said, Exodus content and equipment has made me a better hunter. Thank you, guys. Definitely appreciate that comment. We have another question here. Is there a live stream feature or is that unethical?
Man, that's a good question.
Open a can of worms here.
Yeah, that is a whole other can of worms. Man, it's the product's a tool. The morality or ethics side of it, like it's no different than a firearm, right? Like the tool, it's a tool, and it's up to the user to define how they're using it, what is moral, what is ethical. But to answer the question, we don't call it a live stream, right? Like because there's some latency there. It's technically not a live stream, but you have live capabilities. So, for instance, if I have a camera out in the field right now and I have a photo buzz through to the app that just pops up, I can instantly go tell that camera to take a video. So within a second, the camera fires up, it's taking a video, and it's going to report back to you. Is it a live stream? Technically, no. Is that how it's marketed? Absolutely. We just don't use those terms.
Absolutely. Let's see. We'll do one or two more here. How long did the new? Oh, we may have. There's a little bit of lag on Chad's end there.
Oh,
all right, here we are. Chad had some lag in here. I think we're gonna. Well, I think we. A lot of comments about Harrisburg. Yes, we'll be at the archery. We'll be in the archery hall at the Harrisburg show. Same spot as the last handful of years. Hope to see you guys there. And let's see what else we have. We have some. We'll have another live stream here, and we can marquee some of these questions here for the next live stream later this month for another product release. Once again, you can use the code Rival A5, or excuse me, use the code A5 at checkout to save 15% off. And our final winner here for the live stream is Braxton and Sawyer Outdoors on YouTube. Congratulations. Email us at info@exidusoutdoorgear.com. Want to say thank you so much to everyone that tuned in here to this live stream. We greatly appreciate it and humbled by the continued support over the years. Cannot thank all of you enough, and want to shout out the entire Exodus team for making this run smoothly. Cameron, our content director, Jace, order fulfillment, Justin, customer service, and Lucas for coming in and making sure this thing ran smooth. Cannot do it without all of your guys' support, and greatly, greatly appreciate it. And we will be seeing you guys later this month. See ya.